Good morning. Well, it could be good afternoon, it could be good evening, depending on where you are. But for me, it's morning. Good morning, everybody. So, Tottenham are already active in the transfer market, apparently, and the official announcement came out last night that Timo Werner has now been signed for another year on loan with an option to buy at the end of next season. I have to say, and I've made no secret of this, I'm really underwhelmed with that. I am of the view. Right, let's start again. Timo Werner has signed for Tottenham. Will I support him? Absolutely. Will I get behind him? Absolutely. I will cheer him on. I will sing his name. I will applaud the good stuff that he does when he does it. But I will say if I feel that he hasn't played particularly well, or I don't think he's the best signing that we could have got, or and that kind of stuff. So I did a recent video conversation with Chris Cowlin and Melvin from Malta, who, if you watch Chris, you'll know he's a very positive guy. He has a real positive attitude, which is commendable. And he felt that Timo Werner was a good signing, and that he was. It was good to have him in a squad. That the money is cheap and it makes sense, and and that kind of stuff. My personal view on that was, I don't think he's good enough, and I think just because someone is cheap doesn't mean that that's a good deal for everybody, and it's a no-brainer like a lot of people are calling out. Now, this is, as I've said constantly, this is a personal view. It's my opinion, and of course, you are all entitled to your opinion as well. So you don't have to agree with what I say or how I feel about this. That's absolutely fine. Is Timo Werner a good player? Of course he is. He plays for Germany, and he's an international, and he's played at the highest level. So absolutely he's a good player. But has he really shown anything that would make me consider that he is an improvement on what we've currently got? So, and I would say absolutely not. The guy played something around 13 games. I think he got a couple of goals and maybe 5 assists-ish, something along those lines. And you might say that's a decent return. I don't know. It depends on your view. But what it kind of says to me is that that's going to mean that Timo Werner is going to play on the left, and potentially Son goes back into the middle. Now, me personally, I think that Son is far better on the left, cutting in. I think you can use him as a striker. I think he can do a job there, but it's not his best position. It's not the position that I want to see him in there. And I want to see us be more focused on plugging the gaps that we actually need that are going to take us forward, rather than buying backup players. Because, the other question around this is, okay, so Timo Werner comes in, what does that mean for Manor Solomon? Is he still part of the club's future or not? Is he still injured? Is he likely to come back next season? Whatever. Are there other players out there that are of better quality or that can provide better cover for Son? Because essentially what we're saying is, okay, he can play across the front. Apparently, I didn't see him play across the front. I saw him play left sided, and that was it. I'm told that he's got burning pace. I didn't see him use it. I didn't see him burn past players and whip a crossing. I saw him canter down the side and then cut back inside constantly. And the times where he did actually go past anybody, or did get beyond somebody and play a crossing, that's when we got some kind of benefit from it. And there were times where I watched him play where he was making a run down the side, no one was passing to him. Well, I just wonder, why is that? Why do they not consider that that's an option? Whereas when Sonny's out there, it's constantly going. Anyway, I'm just kind of waffling on again, as I normally do, but I just underwhelmed with it. It says it kind of just indicates to me that this is just another one of those situations where Daniel Levy and the Tottenham board have seen a good deal, and they think, well, okay, we'll take him in, we'll get him for another year. If it turns out good, we'll sign him. If it doesn't turn out good, we'll send him back. That's fine, and that kind of makes sense. If you've never seen him play for you, if you've not seen him, within your team, but you have to look at what he did last season for the time he played for us, for the games he played for us, and you've got to ask yourself: are there better players out there with better quality that could fit in that position? And there's got to be, there's got to be. So for me, I just think it smacks of another cheap, easy option, and that's what we've been known for. And I get it. Tottenham have had their fingers, but they say we don't never buy, quality, and we never spend money and all the rest of it, which is rubbish. Really, we do spend money. We have bought players, and I guess they don't want to get their fingers burnt with another Ndombele, who's 65 million quid that we can't do anything with. He keeps coming back like a bad smell and shows how poor a person he is rather than footballer. And that kind of tells its story. So I understand why they are reluctant to part with big money and so on. And I don't necessarily disagree with that idea. And players can be good at different teams. It didn't work out for Werner at Chelsea. It's not worked out at Leipzig. So he's coming to us. But from what I've seen, I don't think that there is anything that tells me it's going to work out here either. And just because it looks a good deal doesn't make it a good deal. In my view, it doesn't show the level of ambition that we should be aspiring to. So yeah, I'm underwhelmed by it. I don't feel like it's moving us in the right direction. With our under-21 team winning the Premier League 2 league and stuff, you think to yourself, is there no players that we can bring through that to support this squad and this team as well as anything else? So I'm a great advocate of. I'd love to see homegrown players come through. I love to see youngsters given their chance and all that. And I also like to see players coming in, buying players. But I want to see the quality. I want to see the quality of player coming in and the ambition. You've got to have a mix. You've got to have a mix in there. And there are, big priorities. A striker for me is a massive priority. Another left back of the likes of Udogie. You need someone who's going to take his place when he's out, because Ben Davies, whilst he may be a squad player and a great advocate for the club, but he's not that player, and you can't keep being emotionally attached to players, just because they've been there a long time. You've got to look at it's a constantly changing, constantly evolving, developing. That's where you need to be. The fact that we sit back and every player who's out is the best player and someone we're missing kind of says it all for me. And I just think there are priorities out there that we really need to get right. And this just feels like an easy deal. It just feels like an easy deal. Now, like I say, there's lots of people out there who go, it's a no-brainer. It's a 15 million quid. He could turn out to be brilliant and all that and really, really show up. Great. That's fine. I hope so. I hope you're right. I hope that he comes across and really does the business, and his second season he sets the Premier League on fire. But what I don't want is him coming in as a make way for Son to become the main striker. What you want is Son is your left-sided front man, if that's where he's going to play, and you have backup for when he can't play there, for going to the Asia Cup, or he's injured, or whatever, or he's, you know, it's not working or whatever, and you can bring him off and you can bring someone of that quality in. You know, you look at some of these top sides, you know, you take a player off, you take, you know, Doku off for Man City and you bring on Jack Grealish or vice versa. You know, you're talking about real quality, you know, depth of quality, and that's where we need. So the question is Timo Werner of the quality of Son? I personally don't think so. And Sonny, you know, for all the goals he scored and all the assists and everything else he did last year, he probably had a fairly, you know, hit and miss season by his standards, because I think he's a lot better than maybe last season give him credit for. So, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. You know, maybe I've got it all wrong. I just go on what I saw last season, and I was unimpressed, really, in terms of Timo Werner's performances. I didn't think that he did anything like the hype that was given to him, and you know, that's that. Maybe he should be played more as a striking option. I don't know, but his confidence in front of goal was poor. His decision making in terms of crossing was poor. So for me, I you know, I don't think it's a great move. But then I'm not in the background. I don't know what other opportunities are available, what other players are available, and I don't know what other players we could get in that position, and why Ange thinks it's a position that he needs to strengthen. I'm not saying it doesn't need strengthening, but at the same time, is it a priority? Is it the main priority? And we'll see what the window brings, right? Because if next week or in a couple of weeks they go out and they sign a great striker, or, you know, someone who can play the same role as Maddison, for instance, because when Maddison's out, where's the creativity come from? And please don't say to me Gio Lo Celso, because again, I'm unimpressed with that guy in terms of how long he's been with us and how much he's contributed. You know, I mean, he's done like 100 games in how many years? You know, what has he really produced? And, you know, and the fact that nobody else is clambering to take him off our hands kind of says its own story. But, you know, there you go. It's just a view. It's just an opinion. And I don't expect to be making videos for every signing. So don't worry, I'm not trying to be a transfer expert or anything like that. That's not me. I'm just giving my view on this decision. I just feel like the crux of it is, I just feel like this is a money motivated decision rather than a quality of the player, need for that position decision. And that's what worries me, because we're doing that all the time, collecting players for the sake of it. You know, the young lad from Argentina, you know, we bought him and he's out on loan somewhere, likely be out on loan again. You know, your Parrots and your Mickey Moore, he'll be another one that they'll ship out somewhere, and that everyone's kind of talking about. There is another one, and I can't for the life of me think of his name, but you know what I'm talking about. That's not getting an opportunity. So yeah, it just feels a little bit like that, and that's what's kind of worrying me a little bit, because with all the hype of Ange Postecoglou coming in and gonna reinvigorate the club, and, you know, bring through youth and all this kind of stuff, and develop players, and have a good eye across the world and all the rest of it, and straight away we're in for a guy who didn't cut it in the Premier League previously, who's been ousted by a younger player in Germany, but feels like he's good enough. He's good enough to rip it up in the Premier League, and it just doesn't really sit for me. But anyway, listen. It's up to you. Give your view, give your opinion. Am I wrong? Am I right? Am I talking crap? You never know. But again, as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, for those that you do. If you don't, please do, because I'm very close to 2,000 now. I'm about 200 away from 2,000, which is amazing to me. Yeah, to think that could be getting close to that. So yeah, good stuff. Thanks very much, and I'll see you on the next one. Up the Spurs.